What's going on, everyone? Islam Makhachev defended his title at UFC 311 versus Ronaldo Moicano, and we have to pick his next opponent. Islam went out there and did exactly what I thought and a lot of people thought he would do. He finished Moicano, and he finished him in the first round via Darce choke. Islam looks completely unstoppable right now. He's definitely the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and arguably could be the greatest lightweight of all time. But with him being the champion of probably the most competitive division in the UFC, that means he can go out there and improve his already incredible resume. I've picked out 3 different options right now for Islam that I think make sense for a couple of different reasons. Let's go through them. First option, it's simple. It's Armen and you rebook this fight and you get these two to bang out. But doesn't look like Dana White is too fond of that idea. He seems pretty pissed off at Armen Tsarukyan, and I have my own theories as to what's going on there. I may believe that Armen wasn't necessarily injured. Maybe he couldn't make weight. That's a different discussion for another day. But for this, I think this one makes a ton of sense. I mean, they were already scheduled to fight. Armen had to pull out at the very last minute, but it looks like the UFC is going to punish Armen for that. They're going to make him fight a couple more times before he gets the crack at Islam. So it doesn't look like this one's going to happen. However, in my opinion, this one makes the most sense. And I also believe Armen, he matches Islam stylistically very well. He has great wrestling. His striking is okay and will be able to hang with Islam. He's not going to get finished in the first round like Moicano did. Let's just put it like that. I think Armen could put up a much more competitive fight, and I think it's a fight that we need to see because Armen is one of the best contenders at lightweight. Charles Oliveira. Yes, we've seen this fight before, and a lot of people seem to not want to see this fight again, and I understand why that may be the case because, of course, Charles did get finished pretty quickly last time. However, Charles Oliveira is a fan favorite. A lot of people like him. He's very exciting. He has a great resume. He was a former champion, and we've seen time and time again rematches happen after fights were not competitive the first time around, and we've seen a bunch of different former champions get rematches after going out and getting wins. So I don't know why it's so different for Charles and why people don't want to see him have a chance. I mean, you got to remember, last time when he did fight Islam, there was speculation that one of them were going to pull out right before that fight happened, and usually we've seen in the past Charles Oliveira struggles with weight cuts. I'm not saying that affected the outcome of the fight, but it definitely could have. So why not give Charles another chance? He went out there, he beat Michael Chandler, and now he lost, yes, to Armen Tsarukyan, but it was very close, and I think if you're not going to give Armen the fight, you might as well give it to Charles. I think the best solution is to just have Armen and Charles fight each other 5 rounds for a number 1 contenders fight. Their first fight was close, and I think nobody would be against that rematch, especially if the UFC is not going to give them either the title shot. I mean, it also depends as well how long Islam's going to be out for. Some people are saying he wants to come back in October, which I think would be crazy and kind of ridiculous considering he just fought and took no damage. I think Islam won't come back in October. I think it'll be a little sooner than that, probably after Ramadan, somewhere in May or June. I think that's what makes the most sense. So in the meantime, you can either have Armen and Charles fight, but then the timelines get a little sticky because you're probably going to book a Charles and Armen fight maybe April at the earliest, and then the winner of that would have to turn around and fight Islam like a month or 2 later. It just doesn't make a ton of sense. It's that whole Dustin Poirier Islam Makhachev situation all over again. So I think you have to give one of these two guys the title shot right now, and I think Charles makes sense. Probably not as much as Armen, but the UFC, Dana White already said he's not giving Armen the next title shot, so I think next up has to be Charles Oliveira. Unless they go with option 3, which is probably the most unlikely, but probably the one I want to see the most too. And yeah, it's Elia Toria versus Islam Makhachev. The super fight, the fight that a lot of people do want to see and a lot of people don't want to see. I mean, for different reasons. Listen, Elia Toria, what he did in 2024 was absolutely insane. Knocking out Volkanovski and knocking out Max Holloway. That's probably the best 2 back-to-back fights ever in UFC history. And Elia Toria is a big star. I went on vacation recently in Spain and I was talking to locals over there about Toria and they all love him. This guy is a big star, and I think this is the right time to capitalize on this fight. And I don't really understand why people are saying from Islam's perspective how this fight doesn't make sense, because yes, it is a smaller guy. Yes, it's a guy in a division under him. but it's still the guy that knocked out Alex Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Like, Elia is a stud. He's very good, and it's a fight that makes sense for Islam. It's a big name, and it's also a very dangerous dude that would look really good on your resume if you had a finish over him. I think this is still Islam's most competitive fight. Yes, there's a difference between 45 and 55, but it's not that much, let's be honest. And I think Toria's power can translate really well at 55. He's fought there before, and he's already shown that he wants to come up at some point. Why not have these two fight? You could even have this happen International Fight Week if you're not going to make the John Jones-Tom Aspinall fight, and I think it makes a ton of sense. I also think Elia has the best chance of beating Islam at this point, honestly. I don't even think anybody in the lightweight division will get the belt off of Islam. If it happens, it'll be because of Elia Toria. But that's what I think of what they should do with Islam Makhachev right now. Let me know if you guys agree in the comments down below. Pick your favorite option and let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching this video. Be out on the lookout for more videos just like this one. I'll see you all in the next one.